Free speech is not about whatever it is that y'all want somebody to say. Not the incompetent, unqualified Secretary of Defense who's texting war, and the idea that you want to shut down everybody that is not Fox News is bullshit.
We love Jasmine Crockett on this channel, and today we've got a couple clips to look at of her just eviscerating Marjorie Taylor Greene in her face during a pretty useless DOGE subcommittee hearing to try and defund, get rid of PBS and NPR, because that's what Republicans think your tax dollars should go towards, all while they leak our battle plan. So strap in, smash the like button, it helps our channel out a bunch, and it's sure to get spicy, so be ready.
The Republicans have actually organized this goofy hearing to try to convince the American people that PBS and NPR are, quote, domestic terrorists, or domestic threats, my apologies. Not the incompetent, unqualified Secretary of Defense who's texting war plans to journalists. But it's y'all, PBS and NPR, the American people are supposed to be worried about. You can't make this up. It's as stupid as it sounds. The American people should be worried about the president threatening to investigate NBC for treason for reporting on his felony convictions, or arresting reporters and stripping networks of their licenses for not saying nice things about him or not using Gulf of America. The Republicans' witness, Mr. Gonzalez, went so far as to suggest that because NPR and PBS reported on the murder of George Floyd, they, quote, represent a danger to our physical health as well as to civic health of our body politics.
You heard that right. This is a hearing where MAGA is trying to get the votes to label NPR and PBS essentially domestic terrorist organizations because, well, they're not favorable of Trump. This is the level of attacks on free speech that is dissenting, that is coming from the right. It's a scary thing, all jokes aside, where the justification is, well, I don't like the reporting. Like, how does reporting on a cop murdering a black man make you a threat or leftist or woke or terrorist? But it's just the usual playbook because MAGA is so bought into, in this case, the George Floyd thing, the conspiracy of, well, he died of fentanyl and wasn't killed by Derek Chauvin and all of this, that any media that reports otherwise instantly becomes fake news. You see this with MSNBC and Rachel Maddow over COVID, despite them largely being correct, or CNN over the 2020 election, despite them also being correct, because they're not feeding into the narratives like what they get when they go to Fox News.
The DOGE agenda isn't about government efficiency. It's about breeding corruption at the expense of the safety of the American people, particularly Americans living in rural or remote parts of the country. They don't care about public safety. They don't care about emergency management, and they don't care about free speech, all of which are harming American people. In fact, I'm gonna skip off real quick because they have tried to come for you, Ms. Mayor, and I just want to clarify, you did not work for NPR when those statements were made, did you?
That is correct, Madam
And to
Chair.
be clear, free speech is not about whatever it is that y'all want somebody to say. And the idea that you want to shut down everybody that is not Fox News is bullshit. We need to stop playing because that's what y'all are doing in here.
Spot on. Fox News literally has lost the biggest defamation lawsuit in American history and all of American history because of their lies pertaining to 2020. No Republicans are calling for them to be defunded. No Republicans are calling to label them terrorists or lose their license because, of course, Fox News was peddling the lies for them. That's what happened. Meanwhile, and this is their own argument, legitimately, reporting on George Floyd is enough evidence that NPR and PBS needs to go. If it isn't obvious now that these people are just trying to silence dissenting voices, they're trying to control the flow of information in this country, destroy democracy, and use this to instill themselves into forever power, you literally just brainwash, and nothing is going to be enough until it's too late. Because at this point, they're not even kind of hiding it.
PBS News is not just left-leaning, but it is actively uses taxpayer funds to push some of the most radical left positions, like featuring a drag queen on the show Let's Learn, a show targeted toward young children ages 3 to 8 years old. I want you to know I grew up watching children's programming on PBS. And as a mother who raised 3 children, I felt confident that I could leave the room.
Okay, first let's correct the lies and then let's explain why not an issue even if true. First, this drag queen, who by the way is named Little Hot Mess, was not on any children's programming. She wasn't even in a segment funded or distributed by PBS. It was done so through WNET, which is a New York station, not for kids, not taxpayer funded. But the idea that in the first place, that trans people can't be around children or something is insane. It also follows the same pattern that these fascists have tried to do with every minority group. First black people, then gays, now trans. Trans people exist, however much you want to try to hide them from society. Allowing kids to be normalized to the fact that they are real people, no different from anyone else at a young age, might stop some of the discrimination that trans people stop or face in the future, which is, by the way, the real reason that that Marjorie is upset here, that this is happening. And the idea that a trans person couldn't read a book to children is dumb. Trump sexually assaulted women, and he just had a whole signing to erase the Department of Education with a bunch of children crowded around him. It's like as if trans people are the grave threat to our children, thus requiring laws to be put in place. But the firearms that kill them more than anything else, well, we don't need any more laws on those. Like explaining that a trans person exists, explaining trans existence to a child is traumatizing. But them having to regularly drill how to hide from an active shooter in school isn't.